Welcome to Beyond the Coverage. I'm Chris Horner. Today's episode, well, it's got to be about Remco Evenepoel because the Belgian rider is finally back. He has been MIA in action for a long time. Not so long because it was just Tour of Lombardy, the last race, last important race, and the last monument of the 24 season. But then, of course, he got hit in early December by the mail truck with the door opening up. That gave him, of course, problems with the shoulder blade, ribs. He had some nerve damage. Major problems there, of course, for Remco Evenepoel. And mainly, I got to believe it was probably the nerve damage causing most of the delay to his return to the professional cycling in 2025. But now with the Principale starting on Friday, finally the Belgian Wonder Kid is back to action. Now, we see his release there on Instagram where he talks about thanking all of his family, his wife, giving all the praise out there for help bringing a rider up. That certainly helps. That's part of being a professional athlete, is having a core of friends, family, loved ones around you to help get you through those tough times. Personally, I never understood the part where we're reading in there, for me personally, where he talks about it could have been the end of his career or it might have been over. This might have been it, but his family pushed him through and got him through these tough times to bring him back to cycling. In my professional career, there's lots of times when you crash, lots of times when you're at the hospital, lots of times when you're not at the bike races. It's very difficult. I understand it being very difficult, but I never had throughout my career where there's a time once I was hit, as soon as I was moving again, immediately when I was moving again, I was thinking about the next bike race. How do I get into the next bike race and how can I recover from this accident? Well, Remco Evenepoel looked like he had a little more mental issues with his accident than I've had throughout my career. But I could recall one time at the 2011 Tour de France when I got knocked out on stage 8. After that, I came back here to Bend, Oregon. Then I had to get on some blood thinners because I had a blood clot that collapsed my lung. Ended up at the emergency room again. And then I wasn't able to race again the rest of that season. And it wasn't until Trino Adriatico in 2012 that, of course, I was back to my first day of racing. Now, for Remco Evenepoel, kind of the same scenario where he's missed a lot of racing. Different scenario. Every scenario is different between athletes with accidents and injuries, but same kind of more or less scenario of missing important parts of the season and then coming in a bit later. I came in at Trino Adriatico, I was ready to go. In fact, at training camp when I was there in early January with Radio Shack, I told the director sportives, when I come back at Trino Adriatico, I will be ready to go and I'm going there to try to win the overall classification there. I got a little bit of giggles because they all knew it was my first race coming back, but I was prepared. I was ready to go. I had one Fabian Cancellara, the lead through the team time trial to do damage control, of course, for myself, with me hanging on the back while Fabian Cancellara and Giacomo Nizzolo did fantastic work to go all the way into the line at the team time trial to protect the general classification for me, and then I delivered right away on the mountain stages. I was personally ready to go basically from stage 2. The team time trial, of course, was an interesting moment for me, but after that, I was ready to go fitness-wise. So when we're looking at Remco Evenepoel, I believe this kid can certainly be ready at the Principale. He has one major competition to look out for, and that's Wout van Aert. But we saw, of course, Wout van Aert crashed at Paris-Roubaix, and he's been a little bit off on the classic campaign here. But we saw him good at Tour of Flanders, and we saw him go 4th at Paris-Roubaix after crashing. So Wout van Aert's form could still be touching, going up and up and up as he comes into the Principale, being the main competition there for Remco Evenepoel, along with a former winner in the form of Tom Pidcock that won the Principale when he had that bike throw with Wout van Aert. That was early in his career, but now he's back too. Then we throw in Nielsen Palace, so we know we have some good competition at the Principale, but it's not the stack roster like we see when we go over to Amstel Gold, which will be the second race for the Belgian kid Remco Evenepoel, where he's going to have to battle against Tadej Pogacar. We all just got done watching Paris-Roubaix, right? I might have called all those guys knuckleheads, and I don't take any of that back, because when you're attacking at 100 kilometers to go and guys are bringing you back, or if you're the rider to attack at 100 kilometers to go, I think there's knuckleheadism in there. But there is no doubt that I have 100% respect for Tadej Pogacar's fitness, and there's no doubt that I've called him the next Eddie Merckx, and there is no higher praise that you can give a rider than to call Tadej Pogacar the next Eddie Merckx. But when we're looking at Remco Evenepoel, he's the 4th best rider in the world on my list. Tadej Pogacar, Primoz Roglic, Jonas Vingegaard, and then, of course, it's Remco Evenepoel, followed by Mathieu van der Poel and Wout van Aert. So we got Wout van Aert, Tadej Pogacar showing up at Amstel Gold, which means Remco needs to be ready if he wants to start winning big races, and that's when his season really starts. The Principale's an opener, get his legs going. Wouldn't surprise me if he goes in there and he could win the Principale, but that is an opener race to get him ready for Sunday's race at Amstel Gold, where I believe Amstel Gold should be the sixth monument of the professional world of cycling, because I have been there. The crowds are massive. The intensity at that race is fabulous. And at this time of the season, it is when everybody's form is at 100%. Remember, I say it many times up here on Beyond the Coverage, and of course the Butterfly Effect, that there's only 2 periods in the season where every rider at the races are showing up with the best form they can possibly bring. That is, of course, July at the Tour de France, and then, of course, this April time of season when you're talking Flanders, going all the way into LBL is the only time of the season, July, and that time up to LBL, where everybody's on the best form they can possibly bring into the race. Now, that doesn't mean they're 100%, but it means they're trying to bring their best form. And no other race during the season, not Dauphiné, not Tour of Swiss, not any of those races that are famously known throughout the professional peloton and the fans that watch those races, is there any other time of the season where you have July form and April form. It's the most important time of the season. So Remco Evenepoel has to have been taking care of himself properly with weight, taking care of himself properly with training, and he has to be ready to go if he wants to finish off the very end of the classic season at the 25 year and be able to beat Tadej Pogacar. No one is expecting that, but if it happens, it will be something epic, and we have seen these two riders do battles in the past. Tadej Pogacar, more often than not, comes out on top. But if we take you back into Liège-Bastogne-Liège a couple years ago when Tadej Pogacar broke his arm, well, that was the year that, of course, that Remco Evenepoel took another Liège-Bastogne-Liège victory. So we know Remco Evenepoel, with his resume, something fantastic for a 25-year-old kid. He's won the Vuelta a España. He's won the Olympic road race, the Olympic time trial in the same season. He is a road world champion. He is a time trial world champion. He has 5 stages of the Vuelta a España. He has 1 stage of the Tour de France along with a podium appearance. This kid we have been missing throughout the 25 season. So happy to hear he's back on the bike. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, because you know I'm going to be covering the Principale as we see Remco Evenepoel's comeback start of the season of the 25 season. That's going to get him ready for Amstel Gold, Flèche Wallonne, and Liège-Bastogne-Liège. He's going to follow that up with Tour of Romandy, then 35 days rest before he goes into Dauphiné. And of course, the #1 objective of the 25 season for the Belgian kid is going to be the Tour de France. Can he do better than he did last year is what everyone's going to be asking. Can he beat Jonas Vingegaard and Tadej Pogacar? Well, it all starts on Friday, guys. Like and subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next video real soon.